Church of Satan has declared a total war on...
Satanist Rex Church admits that Satanists are using music as a weapon of propaganda to influence youth around the world against Christ in order to establish the Antichrist kingdom on earth. Sadly, hundreds of millions of people of all ages, but especially young people, have fallen prey to Satan's seduction through music.
It's art, music, writing, effectively what we call propaganda, the dissemination of information to influence what we call iron youth.
Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, corresponded with many different rock stars through his lifetime. He was the author of the Satanic Bible and the founder of the Church of Satan, declared, "Today's satanic bands are the vehicle of choice for millions of young people. If they encourage a study of real Satanism, I'm all for them." LaVey, who claims that, quote, Satan has always had the best tunes, also has admitted the following, quote, "Music can inspire people to murder or violence, can inspire them to shoot a mall full of people." Elvis Presley, like no other artist before or after, had an uncanny effect on millions of his fans. He said he had no control over the way his body responded to music, and described the transformation that took place with him on stage as though he were being possessed by some, quote, surge of electricity. Later in life, Elvis would acknowledge that the strange powers that he'd wielded over his audiences were occultic powers that he'd received from the spirit world. Elvis, as a child, believed that he was being guided by the voice of his brother Jesse, who had died at birth, but later admitted that he was being used by a hierarchy of spirit beings. Elvis admitted, "I always felt an unseen hand behind me. I heard that same voice and thought it was my brother. That's what I thought. I heard this guidance, guiding me all my life. That's why I'm here and why I'm doing this. This didn't just happen. This wasn't mere happenstance." Author Gary Herman stated that Elvis, quote, recognized the devil's part in his success. Elvis's former bodyguards revealed that Elvis not only believed that he had occultic powers, but that he was a prophet and that they were his disciples. Red West declared he likes to be in control. He likes to be a God figure. For many years, with real seriousness, he called us his disciples. Red West declared with conviction that Elvis possessed some kind of special powers, something like psychic powers, he said. Elvis proved it to me again and again. Stated affluent culture by producing a car and a car radio for every middle-class home gave Elvis a base for recruiting, while a car radio in the front seat rocked young kids in the back seat were having sex to the hard rock beat. The back seat produced the sexual revolution, and the car radio was the medium for subversion. Satan continued to deceive the public, claiming in the 1960s that rock music was heralding peace on earth. It was only a matter of time, though, before the peace symbol was turned into the devil horns. Today, many of the most popular themes in rock music are the promotion of witchcraft and the occult, Antichrist themes of blasphemy, alcoholism, drug addiction, sexual perversion, murder, rape, adultery, fornication, violence, hatred, bestiality, suicide, and death. While Elvis Presley's once shocking gyrating pelvis suddenly became acceptable. The Rolling Stones and the Beatles promoted Crowley's Satanic Revolution with their albums, Their Satanic Majesty's Request and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. With their Satanic Majesty's Request, the Stones employed the same name for Satan as in Anger's film Lucifer Rising. On the front cover of the album, Mick Jagger is seen dressed like a warlock, and at the top of the album, Their Satanic Majesty's Request, we see the alignment of planets supposedly heralding the Crowleyan Satanic Age. What few people realize is that Their Satanic Majesty's Request was put out in conjunction with the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album to promote the new age of Satan. Both came out in 1967, both were highly psychedelic, and both were poised to take the hippie revolution further down the path of Crowley's Satanic Revolution. Both albums are also heavily adorned with Eastern mystical symbols and drugs. Both the Beatles and the Rolling Stones are wearing uniforms, and both are pictured with deadpan looks upon their faces. Notice on the front cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's is the statement, "Welcome the Rolling Stones." Tony Sanchez wrote in his book Up and Down with the Rolling Stones about a Beatles or Rolling Stones meeting where they talked, quote, long into the night about music and revolution and how they were going to change the world. On the front cover of the Rolling Stones album, Their Satanic Majesty's Request, a slightly veiled picture of John Lennon is seen. This same picture is also found on the inside sleeve of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. On the Stones album, we also see a semi-camouflage picture of George Harrison of the Beatles, his head being covered with magic mushrooms, a biblically forbidden doorway to Satan called pharmakia. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album is covered with a collage of people known as the Magic Crowds. These are the faces of different people that the Beatles considered part of the mystical club. The Beatles described them as their heroes and people they looked up to. In this crowd, you find pictures of one-worlders like Karl Marx, and mystics like Edgar Allan Poe and Carl Jung, and Aldous Huxley, who Crowley reportedly turned on to mescaline. The Beatles also placed a picture of occultist William Burroughs, who claimed to have become demon-possessed after killing his wife on the Sgt. Pepper's album. Also making the cast was the most popular starlet of the 1960s, Jane Mansfield. Mansfield was a high priestess in Anton LaVey's Church of Satan. Mansfield admitted to using her Satanism to both seduce and gain worldwide fame. The Beatles also placed a slew of Eastern gurus on the album as they continued their assault on Christianity. And of course, as we have noted on the top left, we find the picture of none other than Aleister Crowley. Crowley declared that he would lead an army of youth in the revolution to implement the New Age, and apparently the Beatles dubbed him Sgt. Pepper. Beatles and the Stones, far from being enemies in the 1960s as many believed, were in fact corroborators in the Satanic Revolution. For those who couldn't guess the name of the spirit channeled by the Rolling Stones, the Stones spell it out in this song, quote, "Just call me Lucifer." Here we see Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones bowing homage to Lucifer, the entity who empowers the Rolling Stones. Mick Jagger is also seen here revealing his tattoos of Satan. One day, when it is too late, Mick Jagger will be cursing the very Satan who is empowering him for deceiving him and leading him to hell. John Lennon couldn't have made it any clearer when speaking of the Beatles' success and stating, quote, "I sold my soul to the devil." Robert Johnson is considered the king of the Delta blues. He's also considered the father of rock and roll. It is very significant that Johnson would be considered the father of rock and roll, as it is alleged that he had sold his soul to Satan in Clarksville, Mississippi, in exchange for guitar-playing abilities and worldwide fame. It was after Johnson made his alleged pact with Satan that he became the king of the Delta blues. Blues master and Johnson's mentor, Son House, said of him before Johnson's transformation, Johnson, before he made his alleged pact with Satan, that he was a talentless and even an irritating guitar player.
But he finally he run off from his father and mother, and he went over in Arkansas or someplace. He was gone about 6 to 8 months.
It was during this period of 6 to 8 months that it is said that he made his pact with Satan on the crossroads of Highway 49 and 61 in Clarksville, Mississippi. It was at these crossroads where the legendary experiences of Johnson trading in his eternal soul for temporary fame was said to have taken place in Clarksville, Mississippi.
I heard a lot of people say that he sold himself to the devil, went to the crossroads and all that.
After Johnson's alleged pact with Satan, everything changed, as Johnson went from being the worst blues guitarist in a matter of months to the best. Some musicians who knew Johnson claimed that Johnson himself admitted that he sold his soul to Satan.
He said he done that with the crossroads.
I left this morning.
Son House said,
When he come back, me and Willie Brown was playing out to him, and he walked in. He said, can I hit a look at you? I said, nah, don't come back with that, Robert. I said, you know that people don't want to hear that racket. He said, let them say what they want to say. I want you to see what I learned.
Son House said when he finished, all of our mouths were standing open. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. Son House declared emphatically, quote, he sold his soul to the devil to play like that. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has stated that Robert Johnson's songs are, quote, the bedrock upon which modern blues and rock and roll were built. He's not only declared to be the father of rock and roll, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame says that Robert Johnson stands at the crossroads of American music, much as a popular folk legend has it. He once stood at Mississippi Crossroads and sold his soul to the devil in exchange for guitar-playing powers.